Hello, everyone. This is Alexander Horat with the Free American Press, and today we're going to be having a very special guest back on the show, and that is Patrick Holland. He actually founded the Missouri Freedom Initiative, which is a grassroots effort to root out corruption in the state of Missouri. Hello, Patrick. Thank you for
Hey,
being on the show.
thank you, Alex, for having me back. It's been a long time, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. And one of the big things that Patrick has been doing as of late is actually a gold and silver bill. So we were wanting to ask Patrick a little bit about that, how that's going, and what he sees as the future of that bill during this legislative session.
Hey, got you. Well, I'll tell you what, I think there's five silver and gold bills in the Missouri legislature right now, but we're concentrating on two. And the first one is SB 735, which was sponsored by Senator Bill Eigel. And the second one in the House, which is a companion bill, is HB, or HB stands for House Bill, just like SB is Senate bill. So it's HB 1955. And the status of these bills is as follows. The House bill, HB 1955, has been seriously slow walked by committee and leadership in the House. So it's currently still in committee. It's had its hearing, and our understanding is the committee chair, who's been slow walking this bill, his name is Michael O'Donnell, Representative Michael O'Donnell, wants to write a different version of the bill and provide it as a committee substitute before there's a committee vote, or what we call an executive session. So that's the status on that bill. That's not necessarily bad, but it's not good either. I mean, the
Right.
slow walking is really terrible. In the Senate, another interesting story. So Senator Bill Eigel's SB 735 is actually going to be on the Senate floor sometime in the next 3 weeks or so.
Oh, that's
That
great.
Yep, that wasn't slow walked. That was a different situation where Bill Eigel, Senator Eigel, and three of his colleagues in the Senate were punished by leadership and Republican leadership, and they're Republicans too. And
Right.
it's made national news. They had their committee, their committee chairs and their committee seats taken away from them, as well as their
Wow.
parking spaces, because they were filibustering in the Senate to bring forth the biggest issue for the GOP, which leadership wasn't interested in doing at the time. So they're formed something called the Freedom Caucus in the state of Missouri, and they're looking out for the people of Missouri, and they're certainly looking out for the biggest issues for the GOP. So that bill is finally starting to move again. That went through the Senate committee like a bullet, like a silver bullet. It went through quick, but it's been sitting because it was in Bill's committee. I'm sorry, in Senator Eigel's committee.
Right.
And then, of course, he got the committee chairmanship taken away from him the day that he signed off on it. So they didn't have a procedure with how to go forward with the bill,
Wow.
because this has never happened before. It's unprecedented to remove four senators from their chairs. They did nothing wrong. They did not break any rules.
And who
Uh,
removed them?
that would be Caleb Rowden, the Senate
So
pro tem.
he had the power by himself to do that.
That's correct. And well, hang on. This is unprecedented. So we're not really sure if he had the power,
Mm,
but he certainly did it anyway. So it is what it is.
right.
Uh, but it's absolutely fascinating for me to see people who are standing up, for conservative values, get punished by people in their own party that are filled with rhinos and corporatists, which we call squishies here in Missouri. They're squishy because they're very soft and malleable,
Yeah.
and they can be easily formed and shaped. Their opinions are formed and shaped by the people who donate money to their campaigns and their political action committees.
Wow, that's a really good point.
Squishies.
Yeah, that's a really good name. And this yeah, so that's crazy that they even got their parking spots taken. That seems
Oh
pretty.
yeah. Well, you know how they dealt with it. They started doing a weekly podcast from their empty parking spaces.
Oh wow.
So at any rate, they're having some fun with it. At the same time, it's there's nothing they can do about it. So they're going to go ahead and go public with all this information, and they should. And it has made national news. That what's happened here in Missouri with the Freedom Caucus.
So is there anything the people in Missouri can do to get this committee moving to put this gold and silver bill up for a vote? Sounds like
That's
just one guy is making it so it can't be done, right?
Well, technically, unfortunately, I did have a telephone campaign, and that really angered the committee chair, Michael O'Donnell. He didn't really enjoy having 500 people call his office supportive of the gold and silver bill. And so, at any rate, right now, I'm thinking it's not a good thing because this sounds really strange, but the fact of the matter is, he doesn't want to hear from constituents. He's one of
Wow.
those representatives that just is elect me, get me in office, and then leave me alone. Kind of a deal. It seems like that way anyway. I don't want to put words in his mouth,
Yeah.
but he doesn't want constituents calling supporting the silver and gold bill.
Yeah.
Apparently, I need to throw that word in there.
Right. So he's putting a stop to it. And so what do you think the people of Missouri should do to make him
Uh,
put it
uh,
out for
that's
vote?
a very good question. And right now, I'm waiting until next week, to see what we can do because they're on vacation this week.
Mm.
So it's what we call spring break.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not suggesting that all the representatives, flew down to, New Orleans or Florida or anything like that, even though they may have, but they are on break this week. So
Mhm.
it's really hard to get a hold of them when they're on break. So next week I will be contacting folks in the House and even some folks in the Senate. And the Senate bill, that's real easy to support. For people in Missouri to call their state senators, that's important, state senators, differentiation from, their federal folks, and support SB 735, the Silver and Gold Legal Tender Bill. It's also known as the Constitutional Money Act.
So if SB 735 passes, what do you see changing in the state of Missouri? Could you give us some insight into that?
Absolutely. And now people get the wrong impression sometimes when you're doing a silver and gold legal tender bill that you're like getting rid of the dollar and moving everyone to gold and silver. It's nothing like that. It simply gives people an option that they have not had in a very, very long time to either use the fiat or use gold and silver, use them both interchangeably. Encourage businesses like in Wyoming, 30% of businesses actually accept something called the gold back.
Hmm.
And so that's something that I would sure like to see in my state. I would like to see silver and gold be used as money again because it helps us when it comes to inflation.
Right. And it sounds like that will really weaken the Federal Reserve, which is a good thing.
It's possible, but that's, not what I'm all about here. I just want to make sure that people have an option in case a central bank digital currency comes out, that there is another option for them. You know, Freedom is all about options, choices, right? The Federal Reserve, they gave them the Federal Reserve, basically in 1913 and gave them all the power to print the money and set interest rates.
Right.
And so you and I are out of the mix for making choices. When it comes to that, with silver and gold, you have a choice. You can use the fiat system, that's rife with inflation and the threat of a digital currency and all the tyranny that comes with it, or you can use the free option, which is, silver and gold. You can have anonymous transactions again. Let me give you a great example here, Alex, if you don't mind. So if you're giving your daughter or your son a card on their birthday and you want to put like a $50 bill in there,
Right.
people have done this forever. This is basically a way you can transact with the currency that is anonymous and
Right.
non-taxable, right? Well, if we go to a digital dollar and you're giving little Susie $50, you get on your phone and you get into the digital dollar on your phone, your wallet, and you send little Susie $50, but it shows up at her phone as $40 because little
Right.
Susie had to pay taxes on that.
Yeah.
So that's just one example of the kind of tyranny we see coming. That's one of many examples, but the loss of freedom in every way you can imagine is possible with the central bank digital currency.
So how will say grocery stores accept gold and silver? How will that be implemented?
Well, there's lots of ways of transacting in gold and silver. That's an excellent question, by the way. That gets into the free market options. So the gold back, which is a very popular option, is in fact I may have one here in my wallet. Give me a second,
Oh, perfect.
so I can actually show you what they look like. For anyone in your audience who has not seen the gold back before, prepare to be wowed. This is a Nevada gold back.
Wow.
And it is a gold foil, and it's protected with a polymer, and it's bendable, foldable. This has been in my wallet for quite some time. And you exchange this just like you would cash. This piece I'm holding in my hand is 1/1000th of an ounce of gold.
Mm,
So the current value is like $4.70 or something like that.
yeah.
This is one option of transacting in gold and silver. They also make silverbacks, by the way. I don't have one here, but
Oh, that's
so, but also too, I mean, regular silver and gold coins. So you can always do that. But also too, bullion banks have a really cool option, which is a digital version of transaction in gold and silver. Everyone has a credit card, right?
yeah.
So everyone knows what these little puppies are and how they work. Debit cards are the same shape and size, but operate a little bit differently. You are not taking out credit when you use a debit card. Well, with bullion banks, they offer you another nice option. You fund your bullion account with it just, I'm just going to throw one out, UPMA. Um, so United Precious Metals Association is what that stands for. So you send them fiat, they'll convert it into gold and silver and hold an account for you, send you a debit card, and then basically you can go spend your silver and gold anywhere Visa is accepted.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
all and by the way, there's more options too. These are the three, ones that are really, really easy to explain. Some others are more complicated, but the point is, the free market has got this. This has been around a long time, but the people don't know
Right.
because, of course, gold and silver is not legal tender in most states.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So could you tell the audience a little bit about the Missouri Freedom Initiative and how they can join?
Sure, no problem. Missouri Freedom Initiative is a group that I'd started with a very good friend of mine who has since passed away, unfortunately. His name was Jimmy. And Jimmy and I actually decided to start this doing SEPA, the Second Amendment Preservation Act. That was the very first project we worked on.
Right.
And we got that over the finish line. That's a great one in itself, but I know we're not talking about that today. But Missouri's SEPA bill has never been matched by any other state. We're still being sued by the Department of Justice. The Eighth Circuit is still coming after us. There's a lot of people that really don't like people having Second Amendment freedom, right?
Right.
So the right to self-defense, that is. So at any rate, when we were done with the Second Amendment Preservation Act, we went right to gold and silver legal tender legislation based on, and I hate throwing out all these names and everything, the 10th Amendment Center. It's a really good outfit. It's based in California, and that's Mike Bolden and Mike Mahari. And what I was watching their channel, and they were talking about silver and gold legal tender legislation. I actually saw that in 2020.
Yeah.
And so I figured that's our next project. We need to
Right.
get gold and silver made as after we're done with SEPA. And that, of course, was 2022 and 2023. We actually started it. We're in our second year of trying to get the bill across. But in 2023, we got right up to the finish line in the House. We got so close to finishing our bill. But unfortunately, the floor leader, at the behest of the Speaker of the House, never called for a vote. So
Wow.
they brought it on the floor, had it on the floor for an hour and 15 minutes, and then just ended the debate and didn't call for a vote because they were using it as leverage because it was the most popular grassroots bill in the state of Missouri. Thousands of phone calls and emails and visits to the Capitol having to do with this legislation. And so leadership saw this and they said, oh, we can use this as leverage to get bad legislation that the people don't like across.
Wow.
And so we use that as leverage to get our bad stuff through so they can get their good stuff through.
Yeah.
But that's the way it happens in state legislatures. People have to understand that Republicans don't necessarily all stand together. There are many rhinos and squishies mixed in with the conservative Republicans.
Yeah. So is there anything else you'd like to add about your gold and silver bill?
Sure. Well, the gold and silver bill, we believe we have the most inclusive bill for gold and silver and the options for it in SB 735. That has an amended, that's Senate substitute. You can look that up online if you just look it up very closely at the Missouri Senate. It's sponsored by Bill Eigel. Other states love this legislation. They take bits and pieces of it and put it in theirs,
Yeah.
and so it's really, really good stuff. There's the Missouri Freedom Initiative is a very strong group, very interesting organization because we don't have Like, for instance, we don't take donations. We don't have a 501 of any kind. We don't even have the name registered with the state. It's just three actual words out of the dictionary, Missouri Freedom Initiative, that we assemble under and people identify with, and they rally under thousands and thousands of people across the state. So, at any rate, it's a kind of a unique type of organization where no one makes any money and everyone's on their own time and their own dime to appeal to their state government to get good things done.
Right.
And in fact, I'll even will throw everyone, kind of a bone here. Actually, A&E has been filming, so apparently there will be some kind of series or on A&E and Discovery Channel sometime in the next 6 months or whatever. And they've been focusing on the Missouri Freedom Initiative quite a bit, and when they began filming, so even they are interested in what we're doing with silver and gold legislation in the state of Missouri.
Wow, that's really big news. Can you tell people how they can contact you if they want to get a hold of you?
You bet. Missouri Freedom Initiative has a website. It is mofree.org. And that is the easiest way to get a hold of us. You can, if you're in Missouri, I encourage you to get on our email list, particularly if you're conservative, because we represent, basically the Constitution of the United States and the Missouri Constitution. And by default, that means we side more with the conservatives than we do with the Democrats.
Right.
Now, we are not a right-left paradigm group. So we just believe in the Constitution of the United States and the Missouri Constitution, and we work within those parameters. And so you can email us directly from the website as well.
Well, that's really great, and I appreciate you giving all your insight on all of this, Patrick. Is there anything else you'd like to add in closing for this video?
Yeah, I'd also like to add that I'm working with another group called the Citizens for Sound Money.
Yeah.
And so they're based out of New Hampshire, I believe. And actually, I went to New Hampshire just this last weekend to work with them on projects to literally extend the education nationwide about sound money and sound money solutions. And these are really, really great folks. I enjoyed working with them, and I look forward to continue working with them as well. And so that I don't know the website offhand, but just look up Citizens for Sound Money, and you can find out what they're about.
Yeah, that sounds great. And just for everyone to know, please subscribe to the Missouri Freedom Initiative on YouTube and also
Oh yeah,
Rumble and all their other forms of communication. And please subscribe to their mailing list so Patrick can be a hold of you, especially if you live in Missouri. Even if you don't, though, it's still a good idea to subscribe to his mailing list. And
I thank you. I am so bad at self promotion. I mean, I always get an F in that arena. But yes, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on Rumble, we're on, oh geez, I can't even remember all the ones we're on. I just put my very first YouTube short up this morning.
oh, that's great.
Because another project we're working on, the initiative, is educating people on how school bonds work and the deceptive language they put on ballots, calling it a no tax increase bond issue, which is
Yeah,
actually a lie.
right.
And so we're trying to educate the entire nation on this before April 2nd, when a bunch of school districts are all trying to max out their bonding capacity all at the same time at the behest of the lenders. So that's something that we should talk about real soon, and
Yeah, we
have
should
a
make a
separate.
video on school bonds for sure.
Yes, let's
Pretty
do
cool.
that. And I think that's really important before April 2nd. I meant it's very important for people to understand that you are being deceived by your school boards and your superintendents in your school districts. I'm sorry I had to throw that in at the end,
Oh, no,
but
that's
here we go.
great.
That way folks will know what our next video is about. Hopefully we'll do that soon.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely do a video on that soon, and we'll talk again soon, Patrick. And thanks for doing this video with me. And just like to thank all the viewers for watching this video. Please share it with your friends and family, like and subscribe. Thank you all. God bless.
God bless you all. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.